Hi, I'm Stacey and welcome to my Book Nook. And today we're going to be doing my February wrap up. And there's been a lot of planes flying overhead, so hopefully we won't get too much of that. We'll see how it goes. As usual, let's do the stats first. So in February I read 5 books and that amounted to 1,810 pages with an average rating of 3.4. So that's a lot lower than January. So I think that tells you a little bit about how my reading went in February. So of these I read two of which were series and 3 were standalones. And 4 of them were authors that were new to me and 1 of them was an author that I'd read from before. And 2 of these copies are physical and then 3 were digital, 1 of which was an audiobook, which is new and exciting for me, so I'll get into that in a second. So my genres were fantasy, historical fiction and autobiography. So non-fiction. Are we surprised? Because I was surprised that I did that. So let's start with the first thing that I read in February, which was The Magicians by Lev Grossman. And I thought I would like this at first. I did like it at first. It was intriguing. I'd seen the TV show. I love the TV show. It's really good. The book I gave 2 stars and I did not finish it. I got to page 272 out of 402, so I gave it a really good go. And I just couldn't get on with it. It's like I kept waiting for something to happen, and I knew that it did because of the TV show. I knew interesting things happened, but in the book they kind of happened and then it went straight back to the really boring stuff. So I just couldn't get on with it. It was just boring to me. And maybe it's because I'm not a huge dark academia fan, and this was definitely academia. But I did read Babel and I loved it. I gave Babel 5 stars. So I don't think that was it. I think I just don't like Lev Grossman's writing. However, I do have something else on my radar by him that I might like because it's a lot shorter than that. So we'll see how that goes. So yes, The Magicians, 2 stars. DNF. Wasn't a fan. The next thing that I read was possibly my favourite of the month. And this was Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. And this is a YA fantasy. I never actually told you what The Magician's about, but to be honest, I didn't enjoy it that much, so I'm not going to. If you're interested in it, I'll just put my, what is it called? The February Pick and Mix TBR. I'll put it up here, there I think, and I'll tell you what it's about in that one. So, yes, we have Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, and this is about Violet, and she's a seer. And that is one of the things that I found really interesting about this book. And there's a prophecy and a curse, and this prince is very much involved in that. And it's about those 2. And I don't want to tell you too much more, because it is really good. There are things, it's very angsty though. It's very angsty. But if you love a bit of drama, if you love a bit of angst, then this is probably for you. And I really needed it at this time after reading The Magicians. I just needed something with a bit of angst. Something interesting. So I gave this one 4 stars. And I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it a lot. I enjoyed it. The next thing that I read was my audiobook, and that was also my non-fiction autobiography. So I read The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher, and it was really interesting. I've been trying to get a bit into audiobooks, and I thought the best way to do that would be to have an autobiography and have it read by the person who it's about. This one is read by Carrie Fisher, and then the diary excerpts are read by Billy Lord, who is her daughter. And I liked it. It was interesting. It was a lot about her and Harrison Ford, which I assume was the big thing about this book, which I had no idea going into it. So it was really interesting. I gave it a 3-star because it wasn't what I expected. I expected lots more anecdotes about the actual filming of Star Wars, which is what it said, but then it was a lot about filming of Star Wars, but also very much about Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford. So, yeah, 3 stars. Average. Not bad. And the next one that I read was, did I like this more than Violet Made of Thorns? I have no idea, but I really, really enjoyed this, and it is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and this is a historical fiction based on the Greek myth of Ariadne, and it also talks about other women like Medusa, and it also very much follows the story of Ariadne's sister Phaedra as well, and also their mother, who I can't remember her name right now. Also begins with a P, I believe. But I really, really liked this. I thought it was really interesting, and it showed the Greek myths as I'd never seen them. And there was definitely some parts that I didn't know about, which was great because it meant that it was a new story in some ways. So yeah, I really liked this, and I gave it 4 stars. And the last thing that I read, I don't want to say too much about it because it was my buddy read. And the person who I'm buddy reading it with, who is my sister Kyra, she hasn't started it yet. So I won't go into too much detail. So the book was The Starless Sea by Erin Morganstern. And it's a fantasy, and it's about a boy named Zachary, and he kind of discovers this world, let's say. And there's all sorts of clues. It's a little bit of a mystery, but it's very much fantasy. It's very surreal and ethereal, and I did enjoy this. But for most of the book, sorry, I just didn't know what to think. I didn't know if I loved it or whether I thought it was a bit erratic or tedious, or I have no idea what I think. And to be honest, I think I still need to sort out my feelings about that book. So I think it being a buddy read is probably a great thing because I can sort out my feelings when I talk to my sister about it. For the moment, I've given it 4 stars, and we'll see how that goes. I may update you about it if I remember, but that's what it is. That's how it is right now. And those are all the things that I read in February. Thank you all for watching. Let me know, what did you read in February and how did you find it? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!